Fascia is the meta system of the body because it connects and communicates with all 12 systems of the body. So you can imagine how important that is, especially for nervous system, for lymphatic system, for your immune system. So there's some emerging research that actually working with your fascia and even stretching for just 10 minutes a day can actually prevent tumor growth. It can actually prevent tumor growth, and it also can reduce the size. It can reduce the size of tumors if you have tumors.
Welcome back to Reconditioned with me, Lauren Vakneen. Thank you so much for being here. And it's nearly 10 p.m. at night for me because I was recording with my good friend Lauren Roxburgh, who's all the way in New Zealand. So it was 9 a.m. for her in the morning when we started. So we were trying to make it work on our very different time zones, and we made it work. So I'm going to keep this intro short because it's late, and you all know that I like an early night. This is way past my bedtime. But this episode was so incredible. I love Lauren. I got to meet her and be around her at the Gaia conference that we were both speaking at in Boulder, Colorado in the end of 2024. And we connected so deeply. We were like the same person in the way that we raise our kids, in our thoughts, and how we want to change the world, and how we're impacting the world and bringing the good energy, the high vibes, all of it. And she's working through, as kind of a body worker in terms of starting from that place of the physical body, the fascia. And I was coming from the kind of healing chronic illness, going within, healing the emotions sort of thing. And she's doing all of that as well. And so it's kind of just all this complementary. Yeah, we really connected. And I was like, I've got to get you on the podcast because her talk about fascia was so incredible. I was so taken with her talk. Her slides were also pretty cool. I was really taken with her slides. But her talk was amazing. And ever since then, I have been on her membership, the Aligned Life Studio, and I do her workouts most mornings, or as she calls them, work-ins. As you'll hear in the episode, we speak about how this is really the first kind of exercise, if you want to call it that, program that has made me feel good, that I look forward to doing, that I don't feel like, I have always felt like the heavy exercise is just not for me. I enjoy how I feel after exercise, but I've always intuitively felt like it was just too much for my body. And I want to exercise, and I believe in moving my body every day, and I believe in lifting weights and all those things, but it all felt too much. And coming to her workouts and her program and how she integrates breath and movement and fascia and the roller and the rebounder and all these things, just, the lymphatic drainage, moving the lymph through the body, all of it, it just aligns so beautifully with me. And so I'm loving it, and I know you're going to love it too. And so everything you need from Lauren in regards to her membership program, a discount for that, accessing that, and her free 5-minute morning fascia release, all of that will be in the show notes. So make sure to head over to there and get that all, get all those links you need there. And I know you're just going to love this episode. Honestly, she's such a high vibration person without it being inauthentic, without it being, I don't know, I don't even want to use the words that I was just going to use because it kind of does a disservice in terms of, disclaiming anything. She's an authentically high vibrational person, bringing her energy with this enthusiasm and awe of everything, and this kind of genuine energy of be the energy you want to see in the world. And I love that about her. And I know no matter what you're listening to this episode for, you're going to get so much out of it in terms of emotional healing, physical healing, everything, absolutely everything. I just feel motivated and inspired having spoken to her. So I know you're going to too. So enjoy the episode. Let us know what you think over on Instagram. Come and connect with us. There'll be a clip there about this episode. Come and chat to us about it. And yeah, if you enjoy the episode, of course, please share the episode because that helps us reach more people. If you enjoy the podcast generally, please do subscribe and leave me a review. Just pause it and go and do that now. If I can ask you one thing, if you want to pay it forward, if you've ever learned anything or gained anything from being here on this podcast, please go and pay that forward by leaving me a rating and a review. it really helps us reach more people. Like, I can't tell you, it pushes us up the chart so we can reach more people see it. So I would really appreciate if you could do that for me. And regardless of any of that, I'm grateful for you being here. So thank you and enjoy the episode. Some of you may remember that towards the end of 2024, I had a bit of an inflammatory flare up. Now, having been in remission for so long, it was quite challenging. And even with all my tools and the best practitioners at my fingertips, it wasn't shifting. And there were many reasons for that, but a friend told me about the energy enhancement system that has taken off like crazy in the States, but it had just opened in the UK. And I really was trying everything I could to heal, so I went to check it out. Honestly, safe to say, I've never looked back. And if you're suffering with anything from autoimmune conditions to mental health challenges, to cancer, even if your pet is unwell, please stick with me for 60 seconds while I tell you what this incredible system of healing is. So EES creates special energy fields using scalar waves and biophotons that allow your body to return to a place of homeostasis and balance, because that's the frequency our bodies should be vibrating at when in a state of wholeness. These fields help to balance and optimize your body's natural processes, promoting healing and overall well-being. I've personally now had 2 daytime sessions and have also stayed overnight twice, giving my body 11 hours of recharging within the scalar waves. And all I can say, and my friends who I sent say the same, is I've never fallen into a deeper meditation or a more relaxed state than when I'm in there, showing me that it's absolutely doing something with my energy field, thereby promoting wellness. The energy enhancement system promotes the body's ability to detox, reduce inflammation, reduce pain, improve circulation, improve sleep quality, improve immune function. It regenerates cells and it balances the right and left hemispheres of the brain, which is why we go into such deep meditation when we're in there. And that's just the beginning. Guys, the body is designed to heal from everything and anything. And when it's synchronizing with the healthy, energetic environment generated by the system, it can. They're based in London. I cannot recommend it enough. And you can get 18% off any length session by using code Reconditioned18 when booking. That's Reconditioned18. Just visit www.energyenhancementcentre.co.uk to book, or you can head to the show notes for all the links. I cannot wait to hear your success stories. And please note, EES do not make any medical claims. Lauren, or Lo Roxburgh, dubbed the Body Whisperer, is a structural integration bodywork practitioner with a bachelor's degree in exercise physiology and nutrition. And she's the best-selling author of The Power Source and Taller, Slimmer, Younger. Lo created the Aligned Life collection of healing tools and is the co-founder of the Aligned Life Studio, a virtual platform that offers a new paradigm in health and fitness with a unique focus on holistic wellness. The Aligned Life Studio is designed to help people align and strengthen their bodies and shed both physical and emotional weight while enhancing strength, resilience, and confidence. Lo is a passionate advocate of the vital and often overlooked role that the fascia plays in our overall health, well-being, and even happiness. Welcome to Reconditioned.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for having me. It's wonderful to see you.
It's so good to see you again. Obviously, we connected in Boulder at Gaia, and that's how we kind of connected. And we've been trying to make this happen ever since. And I'm so glad we did, because we connected in such a way that I just felt like, I don't know, just so connected to you.
Yeah, sisterhood. Absolutely. It was wonderful. Yeah, that was quite an adventure.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So before we start, because you've got so much amazing stuff to teach us, what have you done so far today to support your wellness?
Yes. Well, I've got to practice what I preach, or else, it just really, I actually feel guilty if I don't. So I like to be the embodiment of what I teach. So today I woke up actually really early because there was some sleep issues happening in our household. And so I couldn't go back to sleep. So I put my binaural beats on in my earbuds, and not AirPods, but the buds like you have on right now.
Good, good. Excellent.
And then I meditated, and I just find that using the binaural beats is so incredible. So I started with that. Then I got up, did the whole routine with my family, and then as soon as they left, I went in the sauna and I stretched for a few minutes and just sort of prepared myself to ground myself and clear out. And I love to start the day like that because it just gives me this opportunity to really go in, and instead of like being in that consuming energy of like consuming, whatever it is, media or news or anything, it's like I get this opportunity to really check in with myself and my soul and kind of call my soul back into my cells. So that is it's my non-negotiable. And then of course I do my 5-minute fascia flow, which we can get into later.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way you start your day. The thing that I notice with you, even in the things you share, even just on your stories on Instagram, it really is all about going in, and it is all about that kind of high vibe energy, but in a very authentic way. And I know that it's a value of yours, like keeping yourself in this high vibration and your energy.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it makes a big difference. And I think, you and I talked about this a little bit when we were together, but just the idea that, you know, our state of being comes with us in everything that we do. And so we might as well enhance our state of being and be able to ride the waves of life better and really look at like obstacles as opportunities and kind of look, that's not about bypassing and not feeling the feelings or feeling anger or feeling things come up, but to not let them be stuck with you and kind of be frozen like this crystal.
Mhm.
I like to use this because fascia is considered like a liquid crystal. So sometimes what can happen is those negative emotions can actually freeze in your tissues and lower your frequency and vibration. So it's not that we don't want to feel the feelings. We want to feel the feelings because we know feeling is healing, or really you got to get real with yourself first, then feel, and then that's when the healing process starts to happen. So not focusing on the healing so much, but focusing on the whole process of kind of metabolizing life and alchemizing emotions too.
I love that. Real, feel, heal.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I think the best place to start with this is for anyone who has, I'm sure people listening have heard of fascia, but might
Yes.
not know exactly what it is. So, what is fascia?
Oh my goodness. Wait,
What
I'm going to
was
get.
that? Was that a bird?
No, I think. Wait, did something fly by us?
Yes.
I think it was a bee because we have bees here on the property.
Yeah, and just to put it in context, it is evening here in London. It's 8 p.m. in London on Wednesday night, and it is 9 a.m. in New Zealand where
Yeah.
you are on Thursday morning.
So here we are making it work. Okay, so I love this visual. Okay, so this is a stocking.
Okay, if
Okay,
you're
so
not what if you're listening on audio, I highly recommend going to YouTube and watching the video of this so you can see what Lauren's doing right now.
this is everyone can visualize a fishnet stocking, right? So essentially, it's this beautiful living tapestry. Sometimes people call it the it's like this biological fabric that keeps us elastic. So it's this incredible matrix of connective tissue that weaves through the entire body. But when you look at it like this, you can see it's basically like this spider web that lays underneath your skin and above the muscle, but it also weaves through the muscles and around each individual muscle. That's the superficial fascia. And then it also continues on to go into the deeper layers of the fascia. So it weaves through your organs, your glands, and essentially the new research has revealed that it's touching every cell of your body. So it's used to be considered like the scaffolding of the body, kind of holds you up. Sometimes it used to be called the organ of form. So it's responsible for the shape of our bodies. But what it does is it also, I'm going to give you another visual. So here's a sponge.
Mhm.
So people that are listening, think of a sponge. You know, when a sponge gets really dried up, hard and crispy. So that's what happens when your fascia gets dehydrated. And so basically what you want to do is have your fascia be hydrated, and it's kind of like putting water in a sponge and making it nice and squishy, like so you can wring it out. And that's really important because otherwise when your sponge, your fascia is really hard, thick, and dense, it can absorb toxins, trauma, thought patterns, emotions, environmental toxins, emotional toxins, those kinds of things as well. So you want to have your fascia, your connective tissue matrix, this webbing inside of you, be really flexible and pliable. And what I am so excited about is that fascia is more than just the scaffolding or the glue of the body. Now that we have new cameras, this is only in the last few years, maybe 2019, where we have these amazing new medical technology and we can study fascia under a microscope, but in a living body. So before they would study fascia in a dead body, in a cadaver, but there was no life force energy in that fascia. So now we can study it. And we now know that fascia is this incredible circuitry in the body. It sends and receives information, vibration, energy, even nutrients, and of course, water. So if someone is chronically dehydrated, most likely their fascia is not getting the juiciness. And I like to say that kind of aging is a form of dehydration. So when you keep your tissues hydrated and flowing, I like to say when you keep your fascia flowing, you can keep your cells glowing. So it's really incredibly important for longevity, for holistic health, and also for root cause healing. So it helps you get to the root of any of the issues we have. Like we like to say, like Bruce Lipton says, our issues are in our tissues. So I love that. And I really, really believe that because we also know actually from you guys, I don't know, maybe we talked about this a little bit, but Dr. Helen Langbein, she was at Harvard. She's now at NIH. She actually coined the term that fascia is the meta system of the body because it connects and communicates with all 12 systems of the body. So you can imagine how important that is, especially for nervous system, for lymphatic system, for your immune system. So there's some emerging research that actually working with your fascia and even stretching for just 10 minutes a day can actually prevent tumor growth. It can actually prevent tumor growth, and it also can reduce the size. It can reduce the size of tumors if you have tumors. So it's really remarkable and it's really exciting. And I think we're just at the beginning of the exciting new scientific research, but the ancient wisdoms have known this for years. It's, basically your meridians are also in your fascia. So Chinese medicine, they've known this for quite a while. The fascial meridians that Thomas Myers coined in the 90s, they line up completely perfectly with the Chinese medicine meridian. So it's just different modalities coming together and truly aligning. And so all of these kind of awarenesses and I think we're just at the beginning of understanding the potential. And I like to call fascia the Wi-Fi of the body because it's sending and receiving the information. And so if your Wi-Fi is sluggish and stagnant and dried up like that hard, dense sponge, you're going to be moving slow. You're going to be harder. You're going to be denser. You're going to be heavier. You're going to hold on to more weight. And your body is going to not be able to have that fast or healthy cellular metabolism, like a sluggish cellular metabolism. So that's why I get really excited about it. I still don't understand why it's not all over the media, but I think it's a hard system of the body to medicate because really all you can do is numb it out. And we don't want to do that because it's also the richest sense organ. So it's where we have the most sensory receptors. Fascia is because we have all these sensory receptors in our gut, obviously gut instincts. We also have a lot of lymph nodes in our gut, but it's really important for like vagus nerve communication in the body as well. So the gut talking to the heart talking, the gut talking to the brain, and the heart talking to the brain as well. So you can imagine why I'm so excited about it. But I think we're just at the beginning of some really exciting discoveries, and we're just getting started.
If you've chosen to listen to this podcast, I probably don't need to tell you about the importance of connecting with the Earth's electromagnetic field daily, a lot, if we want to optimize health. Spending more time grounding, i.e. barefoot on the earth, actually helps the healing process and boosts immune function. But the reality is that most of us just aren't outdoors enough to get the full benefits of connecting with the natural frequencies of the earth. Even our footwear blocks this connection. So what do? Well, enter earthing sheets. I have an earthing sheet in my bed from Roland Earthing, and I've not only noticed an improvement in my sleep quality, yay, but also an improvement in overall vitality. By sleeping on an earthing sheet, you restore the electrical connection to the earth that you miss out on by not being on the earth enough during sleep, replicating being grounded in nature. And it works best this way because our bodies repair while we sleep, and we're there for ages. So really, this is the most valuable time to maximize efficiency of your earthing practice. The sheets are made from organic cotton and they just go under your bed sheet. And not just that, Roland Earthing donates 1% of all sales to Farmers Footprint, Zach Bush's amazing charitable organization, which really means a lot to me. Earthing sheets are also said to be really great for children with sleep issues and cognitive challenges. So all in all, I couldn't recommend these earthing sheets enough. And you can get a 5% discount by visiting rolandearthing.co.uk. That's ROWLAND earthing.co.uk. And use the code Lauren5 to get a great 5% discount off your first order. It feels like it's just come out of nowhere. Like no one knew about fascia and now it's being spoken about and you're speaking about it like this. But yeah, it's this huge thing that is affecting so many parts of our bodies and really like kind of governing so many of our bodily processes. Why have we not heard about it before?
Well, there's a couple different reasons. I think there was a division of church and state at a certain point when the basically the medical community just couldn't deal with fascia. They just looked at it like this packing wrap. They just threw it away and they didn't realize it had this life force energy in it. And I think when you talk about life force energy or energy frequency and vibration and sort of the era we've been living in, which has been more of the chemical, mechanical, material world, which is only like living in the 3D world, they disregarded anything that had to do with energy or chi. It started coming through. But I think there was a big kind of division where they just said, you know what, we can't control this, so we're just going to pretend like it's not there. But the amazing thing is that it has always been there, but we just never gave it any attention. So we just tried to kind of, like I said, medicate it or numb it out or do surgery. And so we have really like numbed ourselves down and we've disembodied from a lot of that, because the way I look at it is, because it's the richest sense organ, it's, they call it the sixth sense, the sense of feeling. So it's where we feel things. So as skin is to touch, fascia is to feeling. And so what's so beautiful about that is when you get in touch with your fascia and you remember and realize it's there and you reconnect to it, you recondition those old patterns and you can actually reconnect to who you really are and to, I believe, your soul. Actually, Dr. Andrew Still, who was the father of osteopathy in the late 1800s, he had a term because he actually discovered fascia as well in his trainings. And he coined a saying, which was that he believes that the soul of a man's or woman's being resides in the fascia. And so there was a lot of these discoveries along the way, but the medical schools, they were like, we don't understand this, so we're just going to throw it away. So it wasn't until 2007 when the first fascial congress was established at Harvard University, where the doctors, the medical community, came together with more of the holistic healing community, like body workers and acupuncturists and chiropractors. And they came together and they started having conversations and sharing stories. And then that's when the research started really taking off. And now I think anyone that's not addressing the fascial system is kind of behind, I believe.
Yeah. How do we address it then? You mentioned it in relation to the nervous system. How would we use fascia to regulate the nervous system? You and I spoke earlier and I was like, my nervous system is shot to hell and I need to just be in like stillness at the moment. And I have
Yes.
my own ways of doing that, but like, how do I use the fascia to do that? Maybe I could go even more deeply into healing my nervous system through fascia work.
Absolutely, Lauren. So so obviously the nervous system is that big boss to all the other systems in the body. And when we work with our fascia, like when we do rolling or gentle rebounding or stretching or breath work, or I like to use the vibration machine sometimes, or just, doing some yoga, we're starting to work with the fascial system. And when you start to work with it, it actually starts to drop you into parasympathetic. So we now know that when you work with your fascia, you're getting into your deeper, more calming state of the nervous system. And then you add using some essential oils along with that. And you also add using some binaural beats while you're rolling or stretching or breathing. And all of a sudden, your brain waves are dropping into theta, and you're starting to be able to unwind some of the holding patterns, because the reason why our nervous system gets taxed is because we're probably doing too much, right? So we've got to make sure we have that time to not be doing, but to be. And, like we've talked about this, but the beingness isn't just about sitting around and doing nothing. It's really just being aware of our state of being and what are we feeling in this moment, because our fascia is also imprinting every single memory we've ever had, even like when we were in the womb. So it's holding on to every single memory. So it's, how do you become more resilient and release some of that buildup or that residue? I like to call it stress hygiene or emotional hygiene. To me, that's as important as brushing your teeth, right? It's emotional hygiene is as important or more important than brushing your teeth. It's like you've got to clear the stuff out. Otherwise, it just builds up, and that sponge just absorbs all the emotions, all the toxins, all the, just thought patterns and belief systems. And then it calcifies in the body and creates this sediment. So as you peel away, and by peeling away, you use a roller by applying pressure. So fascia really likes to have pressure, which creates what's called piezoelectricity. So when you apply pressure to the fascia, you are stimulating the stem cell reservoirs, which is going to give you that sense of hydration and longevity and give you plumper skin, more collagen production. So you get these amazing beauty benefits, but you also get the benefits of basically like clearing out that stuff that's been blocking you from feeling your real feelings. So kind of like what happens is we can become like overfilled with emotions or toxins. And what we do is we end up having an emotional backlog. So then we're just in a reactionary state. So if we really take the time, and it's kind of like peeling back an onion, it's like peeling back the layers of the onion, peeling back the layers of the tension and the buildup, and then the emotions and the energy can actually release from the body. And that's why people become lighter. They literally lose weight when they do this work, because you're losing density. You're becoming less matter and more light. You're becoming more spirit. You're bringing more of your soul into your cells to be more of who you are. And that's what embodiment is all about. So, everyone's so concerned about ascending, leaving your body. I'm actually really wanting people to descend, to come into their body. That's why we were given these meat suits, to come and experience sensuality, pleasure, feeling, joy, and embody that, and embody what your soul is here to do. And so that's what I teach people through connecting to their fascia. They're literally calling their soul, their essence back into their body, and they're coming back online so that they can be the change they want to see in the world. So that's really my mission, is to help people really come into their body, and no matter where they are, no judgment. Like it's not about perfection, but it's about making the most of where you are, and then really being honest with yourself. And what can you do to continuously, like, I know we're always on the personal development journey. There's always something to learn, but also just staying curious, getting excited, staying passionate, and following your inspiration. Your inspiration, what takes your breath away? That's something that I ask always when I do sessions with clients. And a lot of people really don't know. They don't know what inspires them. And so bringing people back into inspiration, back to do the work within, and what I like to call working in, is actually how we change the outside. So when we do the inner work, and we do the inner healing, and we take radical responsibility for where we are, who we are, why we're here, and we start to remember, then we actually have this incredible outer transformation. And it goes beyond just your physical body, which is a big part of why people have found me. Like Taller, Slimmer, Younger was the name of my first book. They were getting all these aesthetic benefits. But what we started seeing is these massive breakthroughs in their life, in their relationships, in their work, walking their true path, taking, building radical resilience and just radical radiance too, like this amazing glowing kind of magnetism that shows up. So I feel like when you work with your fascia, it's a very feminine part of us. And it turns on, we say that we are electromagnetic beings, right? Our thoughts are electric and our feelings are magnetic, and our feelings come from our body and from our heart. And so that's obviously the feminine as well, the magnetism. So I get really excited because when I see someone work with their fascia, they literally are turning on the electromagnetic part of them. And that is like not even woo woo, because it's literally the electrical circuitry that makes us get up in the morning. That electricity is going through our fascia. So some people call it quantum connective tissue, and some people believe that it's actually going, the energy and the wiring. I know Zach Bush calls it the wireless, something wireless. But anyway, it also goes beyond your physical body into the field. And so it's just that it's being contained in the physical through our tissues and through our consciousness, and then it's expanding into the ether. So right now, you and I are holding space for each other through the sacred web of life. And that's coming from our inner vitality inside of our circuitry and our fascia. And then we're holding space for each other from our hearts, from our minds, and from our soul. So beautiful.
When I was at the HEAL conference at Gaia in Colorado a few months ago, I took with me a jar of Wise Earth adaptogenic honey that I'd been using for an autoimmune trigger, and I left it on the snack table for people to try. On the second day, there was a group of producers and tech people standing around the table looking in awe about something, so I went over. Turns out they'd tried the honey. One of them said, "What the hell is in this stuff? I feel awake and alive for the first time in ages, and I only just took a half spoon 5 minutes ago." Then Kelly Noonan-Gores of the HEAL documentary, who was hosting the event, was like, "Give me some, I need a pick-me-up." This was at the end of a very long, amazing, but draining weekend. She took a half spoon and instantly felt revitalized for the rest of the day. Within minutes, all the incredible speakers, Gaia directors, engineers, everyone was taking this honey, and it was like the energy in the room up-leveled in a way I've never seen. I'm telling you the story exactly as it happened, which is why I'm bringing you this here on Reconditioned. Wise Earth adaptogenic honey was created in response to founder Daniel losing his sister to cancer. It uses traditional Chinese medicine and cutting-edge extraction technology to create a potent adaptogenic honey designed to combat the current leading health issue, chronic inflammation, which is how everything starts. It's helped people from all over the world combat challenges from lack of energy to digestive issues to hormonal imbalances and a range of chronic illnesses. It uses the absolute best quality honey as a carrier of adaptogens such as reishi, chaga, and cordyceps to enhance both bioavailability and taste, ensuring maximum potency and effectiveness. Mix it into your coffee, whack it in your smoothie, or just take it neat on a spoon. You only need a little bit a day for the effects to work. And as I've seen from those around me and my own experience, those effects are huge. So visit wiseearth.uk, that's WYSE, earth.uk for UK or .com for US, and use code Lauren10 for a 10% discount. There's so much I want to unpack there. Where do I start?
Tangent.
Let's start here. You mentioned about, ascending or descending. I heard a beautiful term from Elizabeth Gilbert, who is my favorite author, and I love her and I'm obsessed with her. And I got to go to her weekend creativity workshop in London last year.
Oh,
I know. Just me and Liz and 150 other people in a room. Absolutely stunning. And she used a term called subscending. So let's stop trying to ascend, like you said, and let's subscend. So it's not so much descending, but it's subscending. So we're coming back to the body. We're, as you always say, embodiment. We're coming back in.
Yes.
And so I love that term subscendence, because it's like, that's where I want to be. I want to be subscending. I don't want to be ascending. I don't want to, because like you say, and I'm such a believer of this, I chose as a cosmic being, I chose to have this human experience, to come down into this body and to experience this life and all it has to offer, with all the pleasure and all the pain and all the things in between. And so I just need to be with that. And so just to start there, because I just love that term. So I thought I would share that.
So it's so, I mean, that's it though. It's like, I think, our culture has been doing a lot of numbing out and bypassing. And like, we're like, oh yeah, we just want to be enlightened. But the
Right.
way I see enlightened, I think have a context about it that's like, it's somewhere beyond, right? You're like, oh, you're never ever going to react, right? But to me, I call it enlightened, like IN. You're becoming more full of light. So you're literally allowing the light to shine through the cracks. And it's not to say that you're always going to be light, because we need the dark. We need the polarity to, I
Right.
mean, that's part of the human existence, right? But to bring and call in more light into your cells, into your body, and to live more with that light. And that's the thing, like we actually are infrared light as well. Like if you can see it in cameras, in certain cameras, like we have infrared light shining from inside of us. But that light gets dimmed when we're inflamed and when we're stressed and our nervous system is taxed and we're not sleeping well and all the things we know about. And so we want to just shine the light brighter so that we can allow that light to be actually going beyond us, but into the world as well, into the collective.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I so agree with that. And sometimes the heaviness of the world gets on top of you and you forget. But actually you're such a light for that because you share such positive stuff on social media. And I know social media can be seen as just who cares, but actually it's so important because what we share and what we decide to consume and what
Mhm.
we're consuming off the basis of what other people are sharing is literally affecting how we are vibrating and the light that we are projecting and our energy and our magnetism. So what we share online is actually super important. And I love following you online because you just share these beautiful things, and yeah, it just makes me feel good. And sometimes we can get lost in something big that happens and some dark stuff in the world, and every so often we feel the need to kind of be in that a bit, but then it's always about bringing ourselves back because it's not the bypassing, like you said, going inwards. Why am I feeling like this about it? Why do I feel the need to share, to project this? And then being with that, but then remembering that we have to kind of rise above that.
That's exactly it. So a big part of that is I like to use the term, your vibration is your algorithm, and your
Mm,
algorithm, is the thing that you're going to be served up, right? You could say also your frequency too is what you frequently see.
mm,
All of these, it's interesting, the English language, all of these
right,
terms, you start to unpack them. And like even the idea of interoception, which is
right,
basically what science calls feeling. Interoception is the sensory receptors that are lining our fascial system. And so that is also our inner navigation system. And so when we start to tune into that, and we have the reactions like to the fear in the world or the trauma or the devastation that's happening, that is a good thing. That is, our body, obviously helping us have more compassion and feel those feelings. It's just that we don't want to be stuck in that state. And actually, what the way I look at it is, people talk a lot about having empathy for people, but I actually think empathy is sort of like meeting people where they are and lowering your frequency to feel their feelings.
right,
I think a more um like proactive approach is to actually have compassion, which means you maintain your frequency and vibration high, but you still hold space for the person, you send them love, you feel it in your heart, and that way you maintain your frequency and vibration and you help them come back
right,
up. And we're
right,
all going to have those moments of dropping down into lower frequency or vibration. Like some people call it the 3D versus the 5D, right? There's terminology like that. And that can sound a little woo-woo, but basically what that means is that you're the 5D is just getting out of judgment, like where you're literally having compassion for everything, no matter what, and you're having gratitude for everything, even the things that are challenging. So I think that's where the evolution is coming, and I think I like to call it involution, which Richard Rudd, if you follow Richard Rudd, who does Gene Keys, he's been talking a lot about this lately, which is that it's not just about evolution, just like it's not just about ascension. It's about involution. Like we are living through this inner revolution. And as we do that inner alchemy, the inner shift, it vibrates and ripples out into the world. And I think that's the really big thing right now, that a lot of people are just so stuck in the 3D world, and then they're only believing what they see with their eyes instead of what they feel with their heart, what they the instincts, because we've turned off the instincts because we've been living so much in our head. We've turned off the intuition. We've turned off embodiment, that sense of feeling and pleasure. And like you said, feeling the pain and realizing that pain can be a portal to transformation. Like we should not be numbing pain. Pain is the most beautiful communication from our body, from our subconscious asking us. The body doesn't speak English. It speaks energy, frequency, vibration. It speaks chills, goosebumps, butterflies in your belly. It speaks pain. And so I think that's something that is like a new language we're learning. And that's why I love about like the telepathy tapes that just.
Oh, amazing.
Did I freeze? I
Yeah,
think I
you froze.
froze.
You're back. You're
Am I
back. But
back?
you speaking about the telepathy tapes, and I'm obsessed.
Obsessed, right? So what I'm really excited about is that is showing us the potential of basically what humans are. Like it's one of the superpowers that I believe the potentials that the human involution could have. So we have literally not even utilized so much of the wisdom and the inner technology. Like I talked about this a little at the Gaia talk, but just the idea of like in the world of artificial technology and artificial intelligence and artificial technology, what we really need is to have a balance of, using that to a certain degree, but also make sure that we don't forget about our body intelligence and our inner technology, our natural tech. So there's this natural technology that we've never really awakened or remembered. I think there was a time many, many years ago that people were using this inner technology more because they had to. And I think we're coming back around to that. And that's exciting to me as well. And that's why I use these technology terms like the Wi-Fi of the body, because this inner technology, and that's what the telepathy tapes is showing us, is that people can read minds. But you don't have to be autistic to read minds. That is possible for anyone.
Right.
And all you need to do is exercise it like you exercise your muscles. So there's a whole level of intelligence within us that we have not remembered because we've numbed ourselves out and we've programmed ourselves to be small and to live in these boxes. And so as people start to clear away the baggage of the past and the sediment and the armor, and they start to remember that they are these electromagnetic beings, that they are energy, frequency, and vibration, they start to realize that I can actually like intuit my life. I can live with my inner compass and I can make better choices and decisions. And this is the beauty of it. As soon as people turn this on, their life gets better. Their body starts to change. Their nervous system starts to regulate. They start to literally not crave toxic food or sugar. Like the sugar cravings go away. It's wild. I can't even explain it. I don't even know. I mean, we need more science on it, but lives are completely transformed. And so I really I invite people to not sell themselves out to artificial, intelligence or artificial technology. Not that it's going away,
Right.
but we need to use it, of course, but we can't just rely on it solely, because then what'll happen is it's kind of like when you take hormones, your body will stop producing hormones. So if you start using AI for everything, all the things inside of you are going to start to atrophy and turn off. And I'm inviting people to the opportunity of actually awakening their body intelligence through coming back into their body and actually feeling and clearing and then radiating out that beauty and that joy.
I love that. I love that you speak about interoception. I've spoken about interoception for years with my clients, and because I think it for me it's always been such an important part of my healing journey, just knowing what my body needs, being able to be having been so having to have to be so in tune with my body for so many years, and being able to really just tune in, even by looking at a food, and being like, is that going to serve me right now? Not out of, is it going to make me fat, or is it going to this, or is it going to just but asking my body, is that food going to serve me right now? And knowing the answer, my body will just tell me whether I need to eat that or not. Um, and I love that level of interoception that I think you get to through that embodiment, through just going within. Um, a question I want to ask is, obviously, I have been fortunate to have access to your amazing Aligned Life studio, which has been incredible. And you got me into rebounding. And
Yes.
my husband bought me a rebounder for Christmas. And I have been bouncing every single day, apart from when I was on holiday, because I didn't take my rebounder with me.
Oh, of
Oh,
course.
how dare I? And it has felt amazing. And because I've really kind of been getting into this idea of the importance of the lymphatic system and just moving that lymph around the body, getting that lymph fluid moving. And I think, I did speak about this with Dr. Dixon Tom at the end of the last season, how important that is for our health, that we underestimate it. And so I've got a few questions here. And the first one is like, how connected is the lymphatic system to the fascia? Um, let's start there, and then I'll ask my next question.
Beautiful. I've been obsessed with the lymphatic system for some reason, just I think when my mom was diagnosed with cancer when I was 16, I just got really interested in the lymph. So, I mean, for honestly like 30 years, which is kind of crazy. And I think, when I used to talk about it, people would like roll their eyes, like, whatever, that's ridiculous. Who cares? But what I find really interesting is that now the fascia is being considered the pump to the lymphatic system. So when your fascia is blocked, scarred and hard and dense and thick and encapsulating, calcified, it's going to stagnate the lymph. So getting the fascia flowing is going to help get the lymphatic fluids flowing as well, and help basically your body not pool congestion and inflammation and blockages. And so that's why I've been so obsessed with the rebounder too, because I really look at the rebounder like energy medicine. I know people use it to lose weight and they use it to like do Jane Fonda on it. But honestly, 2 minutes in the morning on the trampoline will open up all of your lymph nodes and give you that clear fluid flowing through. So if you're ever feeling like you're getting sick, a gentle bounce, you don't even have to jump, a gentle bounce on the rebounder for 2 minutes will help flush. Because basically, you get the swollen glands and you start to feel your body is looking after you. It's trying to help you slow down and get that stuff moving. And so using the rebounder for that is absolutely phenomenal. But I also find that it really helps if you pick up other people's energy, or if you're like sitting all day and you just need something to give your body a little like cellular massage, essentially, because when you bounce, you're basically giving every cell of your body a massage. And so there's so many benefits to it. And I know it can be quite an investment to get a good rebounder, but it's something you're going to use every day. Or if you're, committing to your well-being, and if you want to support your lymph, it's so much better than any other lymphatic. Like you can do like the lymph, tapping, and what is it called? The lymph 6, where you press on the lymph nodes. That's great, but there's nothing better than the rebounder. And also I love dry brushing too. And I do recommend to do that before you jump on the rebounder. But I really just feel like if you don't have time to do all those things, getting up in the morning after you've had a good sleep, your body does a lot of healing as you rest and your fluids are kind of stagnant. So getting up and getting on that rebounder first thing in the morning, really incredible to get the lymph going. And also, a lot of people talk about it for cancer prevention, and even for if you have cancer, it can be amazing to support the reduction of the toxic load. So
I feel it when I'm on it, and I've been using it. That I've been, I have this pain thing in my face that I is something that is part of my healing journey. And I find that when I get up, because when I lie down, the nerve is, it's kind of pushing on the nerve. And I start bouncing every morning and it starts getting better. I'm not saying it's healing it, but I feel that it's doing something. And I also,
yes.
I make sure, just like I watch your videos and I follow, I put you up on my screen in front of me. But even if I'm not, I just kind of intuitively, I know to like raise my arms and move my arms and just get that lymph flowing, move the legs in different ways, twist my body. But you have some amazing rebounder workouts as well, and some amazing workouts with the, or not even work. I don't even want to call them workouts, but with the roller. But that leads me to my next point. When you spoke about, doing a Jane Fonda thing, the way you speak about working out, about exercise, about it kind of, I don't even want to call it workouts because it's so different from where you come. And for me, it's been so refreshing because for my whole life, obviously having come from being disabled and never being able to do much exercise to now, in the last decade, exercising, but being very aware of the kind of sort of limitations I have in that I had arthritis my whole life, until I was nearly 30. So now moving my body feels amazing, but I don't have that same level. My best friend's a yoga instructor and Pilates instructor, and she is as bendy as F. And she can do, and I just don't have that, right? Because I was never able to do it. And every personal trainer I ever worked with were like, come on, push yourself and move and like do more and do more. And I see these personal trainers online and they're like putting pictures up of these women who have like gone from this to this. And it's like, you have this feeling of, wow, I should do more. And actually, your approach is not that at all. And it is this very feminine approach. If you don't have to kill yourself with exercise to make your body
Yeah.
feel and look better. So I want to hear, I'd love to hear from you about kind of your thoughts on that, about exercise and this kind of aggressive form of exercise that we've been led to and actually where we need to be.
Yes, and it's actually a big part of my mission too, is to really, like I guess what I've been teaching over the years, which would be called workouts, but they're, focusing on the outward part. But I really never felt like I fit into that category. So now I've realized it's really about somatic healing.
Mm,
And I mean, I'm a somatic body worker, which is what, when you're a Heller work, structural integration body worker, that's what you do, is you help people connect to kind of the subconscious and what's being held in there so that you can release it up and out and then kind of evolve or involve and have a deeper understanding or understanding on what's going on for you. But I think we've been programmed in our culture to just focus on the outward part of working out and trying to build these muscles. But the reality is I've worked with a lot of those insanely buff and ripped people, men and women, and inside, underneath all of that facade is actually a lot of damage and
mm,
inflammation and serious, like, big issues that,
yeah.
so I feel like we've been programmed to fit into this box and to basically starve ourselves and to overtrain and push ourselves to burnout, which is actually totally defeating the purpose of moving your body. Like, moving your body, the way I look at it, it should be sensual, it should be pleasurable. Now, that doesn't mean you don't push yourself and you still are working with the force of gravity and building musculature, but I prefer a more kind of elongated, graceful physique. And that's just because I think I spent a lot of my younger years as an athlete, an All-American swimmer. Then I played water polo at UC Santa Barbara. So I was overtraining and I did that. And I didn't like the way my body felt or looked, for that matter. I was in a lot of pain, so stiff, the tightest jaw, the tightest pelvic floor, so just uncomfortable in my own skin. And so I think I had to go there to feel that in order to be able to come on over to the other side, which is like going in to working in. And so I don't really necessarily like to say I do only working in. I actually think that we do both in my offering. We do working out, but we also work in as well. And so I've kind of created this methodology where we use these different modalities of using the foam roller and then also the deeper rolling tools that helps you get into the viscera, like the organs. So we use like the body sphere to roll out the belly and the guts. And we do a lot of deep breath work, like the deep physiological sigh, which is the double inhale. Do you want to do it with me?
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do
Absolutely.
it.
I need that.
I know, right? Double inhale. And noise when you exhale. We'll do one more. That what that does is that creates a vibration, right? It's actually
Mm.
accessing your inner sound healing, your inner technology of your own voice, which helps vibrate out any swallowed emotions or any kind of energy that could be stuck in the jaw. So, and also opening your mouth wide is a really good way to discharge that stress as well. So, those kinds of things I weave through all the flows because that is scientifically validated to be honestly more impactful for regulating your nervous system than meditation. So
Right.
the deep physiological sigh is woven through all my flows, and you probably hear me say it over and over again. But so the methodology has the rolling and then the rebounding, and then we do the somatic healing and the kind of somatic flows. I call them fascia flows, and then we have sound healing as well to kind of integrate everything into the process of, because I really feel that this formula that I've created for my methodology, which you've experienced inside my app, actually it's almost like I feel like I'm like a chemist and I'm like, okay, let's try a little bit of this and let's try a little. And I've tried a lot of different modalities and I've now pulled the ones that I know work, and not just for me personally, but for thousands of women all over the world. You know, I shared it at the Gaia conference and I keep getting messages from women all over the world that have had these massive breakthroughs by going in and changing actually the understanding of their body too, because a lot of what I do is educate people on how their bodies work. And I know you know a lot of this, but your audience and listeners, a lot of people really don't understand the miracle that they are. They don't understand how incredible their body is and how much healing energy is available within them. Like that same energy that created our life is pulsing through us right now. That intelligence inside of us that gets us up out of bed every day is there. And when we start to remember that and awaken that, all of a sudden you realize you have this incredible ability to connect to longevity and vitality in ways that we just have not really given the body credit for what it is and how it works. So I love to educate people on that, and that's why bringing all of these modalities together into a method has just been really fun to be able to offer it as a way for people to do their own inner alchemy, to become their own body alchemist, to be able to change whatever they want to change and starting from within. And also, a lot of it has to do with the self talk. How do we speak to ourselves? Having, like, what is the conversation you're having with your body every day? Are you self loathing? Are you mad at yourself every day? Are you looking at them in the mirror and being really attacking and angry and mad? And so, I invite people, if they can't, you know, have that self-love from the beginning, then at least have neutrality. You know, just come to that place and just say, thank you for getting me up every day and living my life. And then little by little, you can actually raise that connection and you can start having a different conversation with yourself, and that will mirror into the world. It will have that ripple effect. So the way we speak to ourselves or the way we treat ourselves is the way others are going to treat us. It's magnetic.
Mhm.
So the more we start to really come into that understanding or that understanding of knowing that we literally attract what we are. We don't attract what we want. We attract what we are. And that's the
Right.
thing when we talk about manifestation. I'm like, everyone is manifesting all the time, you guys. There's no like
Right.
turning it on. What you
Right.
turn on is the understanding of how powerful and like you got to just get really clear on what you want to bring into your life because it's all there waiting to come in. But it's just waiting for you to elevate your frequency so that can come in. Your frequency is what you frequently see. So I just love that to me. Like just being able to understand that, it just gives you so much radical power. It's so amazing.
I agree, and you just share it so beautifully, and something that's what I really love about your app, um, and because I do feel like I'm working out, I feel like I'm getting what I want from it. I feel great afterwards and I feel great when I'm doing it, but I don't feel like how I felt for so many years doing these workouts where I feel like I'm pushing myself and I feel like I'm not enjoying it and I feel like I don't look forward to it. And I did a really honest post on my Instagram today, this whole post about kind of like some honest truths about me. And one of the ones I put was, I claim to love exercise, but actually I don't really look forward to it. And I think that's because for so long I've pushed myself to do these things that I feel I have to do. Whereas coming
Yeah.
to your app and following your workouts every day, it just feels kind of like coming home, and I don't feel like I'm pushing myself to do anything my body doesn't want to do. Like I very, I'm Pisces, all round Pisces, like Pisces moon, Pisces sun. I very much need to exist. I'm very good with the masculine and the doing, but I need so much of my day to be in the being. And when I come to something that is in the doing, like a workout, but it feels more like it's in flow state, I'm so
Mhm.
much more aligned. And then, because you weave all that other stuff in, and I think it's kind of like when you go to a yoga class and someone gets up before the shavasana because they just like, this isn't serving me. I'm not going to lie down. I've done my workout. I've done the thing
Yeah.
that's going to make me thin. I'm going to get up now. And so
Little do they know that the actual end is what makes you thin, because that's the nervous system regulation. It's just
exactly. It's
the
the
way we're trained.
integration. It's the
Yeah.
integration of it. Like my son had an osteopathy session yesterday. We got an amazing holistic osteopath, and she comes every so often, does the kids as well.
Yeah.
And it's half term, so he was home with me, and he had his session, and she works a lot on like the primitive reflexes, and afterwards he was like, right, let's play a game, or can I watch TV? I was like, just lie down with me. And the sun was shining, very rare for England, the sun was shining through our bifold doors in the back, and I was like, let's just lie on the couch, let's just let this integrate, and he felt so good doing that, even though he didn't really want to. My point of all this is that with the stuff that you do on the app and within the workouts and the work-ins, there
Yeah.
is a lot of breathing and being. And I just want to say to people, go with that. Just go with it, because it really is creating more expansion, which will give you that, aesthetic that you want and the feeling in your body that you want. It's just, I feel very grateful to you for doing that, because it's for someone like me, it's been the first kind of form. I mean, I do love my yoga and Pilates and stuff, but as a home workout, it's been the first thing that I've really felt connected to, and like, this feels good for me. I don't feel like I'm pushing myself to do something that really doesn't feel good. And the roller, what a life changer, what a game changer.
Game changer. I know. And it's like to say that the rollers can be your private trainer. It can be your private in-home masseuse. It can be your Pilates teacher, and it can be your somatic body worker. And it actually can be your therapist, because you have so much, we hold so much in our bodies. And so even without saying a word, or maybe you use the sound of your voice through the deep sigh or the humming or the oming to kind of vibrate some of the tension and the toxins out of the body. It is so remarkable. And the beauty is you can get into all the little areas where we have the cobwebs,
Mm,
especially when you do it to yourself. And of course, you want to you still want to go to acupuncture and get body work sessions. But the fact that you can use this as a tool to continue to peel back those layers and to unwind some of the tangles is just such an amazing opportunity to have this daily ritual that, like you said, you can start to look forward to, because it actually feels good. And maybe sometimes it hurts so good. You don't want it to be sharp pain, but it can be hurting so good. And so you start to come back home to your body, and you remember your body is your one true home.
mm,
And you start to trust your body and trust your instincts and trust your inner navigation. So it is a really powerful paradigm shift though too, and I feel like people are starting to just really get it. Like they're like, why am
mm.
I continuously traumatizing myself at the gym? I'm having enough trauma just watching the news. Can I just literally ground myself, come back to myself? And when we start to take that personal radical responsibility, and then I start to change my own energy, I start to change my life, and then I start to have, that ripple effect as well, because we know no one changes their life unless they change their energy. So when you start to change your energy and your belief systems, and you start to take off that armor and that sediment and the calcification of that hard, dense thickness, right? You start to take that off, and you start to feel that space, and that you can actually create the space in your body to embody more grace and to actually be the change we want to see in the world. So it's my mission is so much more than the physical body. I love that that's kind of why I've been called the body whisperer, been dubbed the body whisperer. But I really feel like it's not just the physical body, it's the emotional body, it's the energetic body, it's the spirit body. And so when we start to harness that and realize that we are multi-dimensional beings, there is so much magic to be had and to be to actually start to live and to show what's possible. Like a lot of my spiritual teachers right now are saying, look, for people right now that can be what's called a way shower, to show what's possible, we
Mm.
must, if we can, we must hold the vibration and the frequency of compassion and kindness and love, self-love first, and love for others, and also understanding, like, this whole thing of the division that we're seeing and witnessing in the world. Like, if you want to be more understood, you need to be more understanding. Like, it's just that simple. Like, people want to shove things down your throat. Like, I never want to shove my methodology or belief systems down other people's throats. I want to educate and empower people so they can make the choice and go, oh my gosh, jumping on the rebounder and getting on a roller is going to actually help me, like, heal my own body and get that energy flowing through my system and start to change my belief systems and my emotional state. Wow, that's amazing. And then they do on their own little, like, inner alchemy. There's no dogma here. But I think that's the problem that we've been living in, is that people are trying to shove things down people's throats. And the reality is if we want something, we need to be it. So if you're looking for a
Right.
partner, you got to be the partner you want to be with,
Right.
to be the energy you want to attract. So I think that's the world we're coming into, and people are starting to wake up to that, which is really exciting to me. But working with your fascia is one of the easiest ways to do that.
Yeah. And I'm going to put a link in the show notes for anyone who's interested in Lauren's Aligned Life Studio, which you will get a discount to there. And it is absolutely a genuinely beautiful place to be. I'm starting most days with it now. So highly recommend hopping over to my show notes, getting that link, which will have a discount code with it, and going in and checking it out and trying it and yeah, sticking with it, because honestly, your teachings are so subtle and simple, but so profound, and just the light that we need at the moment. So thank you.
Oh, Lauren, you're amazing. I'm so grateful that we met and that you've been doing the method and experience it a little bit. And also I feel like for your process and what you're going through and everything, it's really going to be super helpful, for you to also be able to sprinkle it in with your offerings and everything you're doing and all the joy and light you're spreading, and also the education that you're giving people as well is just incredible. You're having such a big impact, and I'm so excited to share your work with our community as well.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, this has been amazing. I know my audience are going to absolutely love every hang on to every word you've said. So thank you for we've been trying to work this out with our crazy time zones and schedules, and we did it. And I know everyone listening is going to be so grateful to that. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Oh, and
Awesome.
where can we find you? Obviously, I'll put it in the show notes, but let everyone know, where are you at?
Yeah, actually, well, the best way too, if people are interested in trying and maybe like putting their toe in the water with fascia, is to try out my non-negotiable 5-minute fascia flow. It is just the thing that I start my day with every day. It literally is 5 minutes, and it helps to open up your 5 fascial pathways, which awakens your cellular metabolism, but also allows you to go in and to be more grounded and connected to yourself and your soul, and to call your soul back into your cells. And that is, you can share that as well
Yeah,
as,
we've got the link for that.
yeah. So that's a really good way, because I know I have so many different things, like from the different modalities for the method, and people get a little overwhelmed. So we've decided to start with the fascia flow that it requires no equipment, but then they can start to feel like, it's really what I love about fascia is I can tell you what it looks like and how it works and how amazing it is, but really it's about the experience of feeling the fascia. And then when you start to have the education and then you start to feel it, you really will commit to it. It's like once you go there, you kind of can't turn it off. So it's really beautiful. But then if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I do love to share there. And then inside my app, which is where, you're coming to see me in my membership app, we also have the free community where people are coming in and cheering each other on. We like to call it the high vibe aligned tribe. And it's where I share a lot of stuff that, I go a little deeper in there. I share articles and research, and I'm putting more energy and time in there versus social media, because I feel like social media is a little bit dying. So I'm really excited about going in deeper, in the community where there's no algorithms, tech
Yeah.
algorithms, and then there's no ads, and you're kind of just, you get to be with the people that you've chosen to be with and that you trust. So
absolutely. Well, we'll make sure to get all those links in the show notes. And
thanks for having me.
You are
Awesome.
so welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Reconditioned. I am honestly so grateful to each and every person that tunes in. Thank you also for taking responsibility for your own well-being. You should know that just by choosing to listen to podcasts like this that further your well-being, you're moving more deeply into abundance consciousness. Now, don't forget, I have a bunch of free resources over at laurenvakneen.co.uk, as well as every recommendation you could ever need in regards to your well-being on the LV Recommends page, all categorized for your ease. Thank you also to our sponsors. These episodes would not be possible without them, so make sure to check them out and get some pretty awesome discounts on the show notes. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so that you can get updated each time a new one is released. Thank you. I appreciate you.